will play out and a real need to help and support each other, one frontline healthcare worker here in Hamilton is ready to put her cards on the table to deal with both issues. The idea came to Shannon McKinnon as a way to help support Hamilton Food Share, and she's here to explain. Hi, Shannon. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Great, thanks. So you're a frontline healthcare worker. Where are you and what are you doing?
So I work for St. Joseph's Healthcare Hamilton at the Charlton campus. And so I work in environmental services. So I'm pretty much in the room cleaning, getting beds made when like a patient is discharged or when they come in. So I'm not like part of the medical staff, but I'm still right there.
Okay, yeah. And that's got to be, I mean, are you a little bit concerned? Does it kind of rattle you sometimes to be there?
Sometimes. It's funny. The hospital is, unless you're on the positive COVID wards, which for me, because I'm part-time, they kind of put us everywhere. So I am on the positive COVID wards, but I'm kind of everywhere. So if you're not on those wards dealing with COVID, the hospital's a little eerie because we've cleared out so many of the wards to make room for more patients. It can be when you know it's your time and you're like, okay, I'm going to be on, the COVID positive wards today. I'll extra washing of the hands. I'll kind of brace myself. I am happy to be there though. It's nice knowing that like I'm kind of doing, my part to help out.
Yeah, and you're doing something a little extra to help out as well. Now, you tell me about this pastime of yours and how you got into it.
Yeah, so I got into tarot a couple years ago. I just thought it was kind of something fun. Like I had gotten, a reading just out of pure curiosity, and I thought, oh, that was really interesting. For me, like some people take it a little more seriously than I do. I see it as more of a way to kind of reflect on your life and you go, oh yeah, I do relate to that, or okay, I could see how that could play into this situation. I don't think anything is like set in stone. But for me, I just kind of started learning on my own and thought maybe I'll create a little shop on Etsy and maybe we'll go from there. And then I started getting business and I got really good feedback of people being like, oh, I really relate to that, or that really helped me. So I was literally at work, working on a COVID unit, and I just had this feeling of like, I can do more. There's more I can do right now to help out. And I thought, well, the food bank, people are, needing the food bank more these days. They're not working. They don't work in healthcare like me. So why don't we combine two worlds of, my hobby, of my love of tarot. And, if people donate $10, I'll do a reading for them. I'll do it at home. And then they'll get like an unlisted YouTube link to that reading. They can ask a specific question, or if they just want kind of like a general reading. Pretty much like the purpose of a tarot reading is kind of like give you perspective, to kind of cheer you up, to kind of make you kind of step back and look at your life in hopefully a positive way. That's my intention. And it's been fun so far.
So, I mean, you've done, I think, 61 readings, something like that so far?
Yeah, some people have been really kind and like they'll like donate more, but I've lost count.
No, really?
Lost count. Yeah.
That's
After
good.
a while, I'm like, oh goodness. I just was like, okay, who's next? But it's been fun, and like everyone is different. Like whatever kind of like card kind of falls out that relates to their life. So
right.
There's some people like when you do know them, you're like, okay, this could be this situation, but when you don't know them at all and then they tell you actually that situation is happening in my life, that's when you're like, oh, cool. All right.
Now, do you have your cards with you right now?
I do. Yeah, I do. I have the let's see if I put them in here, the Rider-Waite deck. So this is the traditional deck in like for me that I use in tarot. This is pretty standard. Like the images are pretty well known throughout people who do tarot.
Right. So show us a couple and just give us an insight into what some of them could mean, possibly.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Okay. Let's see. I'll shuffle some and let's see what comes out. Okay. So, cool. Okay. So we have the Empress. So the Empress. So in tarot, there's two major decks. There's the minor arcana and there's the major arcana. So the major arcana has to deal with like bigger spiritual lessons that are going on in your life. And so the Empress is one of the major arcana. So the Empress is kind of like, it could be two things, depending if I'm talking to a female. Sometimes it indicates motherhood if they're like thinking of starting a family. If not, usually it's like a birth of a new project. So there could be a new creative project going on that like someone is thinking about. And when this card comes up, it means like thumbs up, like you should go do it. And, and it like speaks of like, you know, of someone's character sometimes, depending what cards are beside it, of like someone who's very loving, someone who's very giving. So yeah, this is a good card to get.
And like how many cards in the deck, and when you lay them out, how many do you lay out?
So that depends on the reader. So for me, like I do it a little different than some readers. Like some do like a past, present, and future. I kind of like literally I'll just get the cards. I'll be like, okay, so we're doing a reading for Scott. And then I'll like start shuffling and then I'll be like, what does Scott need to know right now? And then I just kind of let the cards, what does he need to know? Like I'll literally be like, let the cards fall as they may, unless I get like kind of like a feeling of like, pick that one. Mm-hmm. I really don't kind of tamper it. They kind of just come out at random and then I interpret them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's for like, there's most tarot readers do like something called like, there's like the Celtic cross. It's like a certain like layout they do of like this is your hopes and fears. This card came into like, you know, what was in the past. I don't do that for myself. I kind of just let the cards fall as they may. And when you do get a reading, it's kind of like, it's almost like you're on a journey. So like say like your first card was the Empress. So it's like, okay, this is where you're starting out now. And then say like by the final card, I'll pick one. So the Six of Cups, that's where like you're going to end. And then it's like some of the images, like depending on if you're new to tarot and depending on the artwork, some of them can be a little daunting or people may not get them, especially with like, so there is a card in tarot called the Death card. Mm-hmm. And then that's where people get a little freaked out because they're like, oh my gosh, coronavirus. And it's like, no. And that's not what I'm trying to do here.
It could just mean like the end of a project or the end of, something you've done before or, you know.
Exactly. Or like, you know, at the end of like maybe a friendship or relationship. Mm-hmm. So it's like not something to like panic about at all. That's not my goal here at all.
Okay. So how do people get in touch with you and how do they, what do they need to do to get a reading?
So if you donate at least $10, I'll give you a reading. So there's usually two parts to, there's like the oracle card part I'll do first, which is kind of like the general themes going on in your life. And then you'll actually get the tarot reading. So they, depending on everything, they're probably about 20 minutes long put together. So if you go to, I have a GoFundMe page, just donate $10, I will contact you, and then you should get the reading within 24 to 72 hours.
Now, do people have to be on the phone with you, or
no, not at all, not at all. So they'll literally, I'll shoot them an email after they donate, and I'll be like, hey, like, is there a specific question? Do you want a general reading? And they'll literally just email me back and say, hi, my name's Samantha. I would like a general reading. And that's it. They don't have to tell me like anything about themselves at all. And I'll be like, okay, great. And then literally I'll just tape it on my phone and then they'll get the unlisted YouTube link and I'll send it back to them within about 72 hours, depending on everything.
So I know a lot of people who are sort of into forecasting the future. They like to have something personal from whoever they are dealing with. But you're finding you're able to, just by the contact with people, it's enough to kind of sit you down the road, is it?
Yeah, for myself, I don't need a personal object. Some people ask for like date of birth. For me, I usually just go on the name, and I kind of just go on, if I do feel something kind of intuitively within myself, then I'll say it. Mostly I'll just interpret the cards and try to like, put like a somewhat more positive spin on it, or let's look at it this way. Ever so often, I kind of call it my intuitive hit. Like, I'll literally kind of just feel something. I'll be like, I don't know why, but I feel like I need to say this. Do I claim to be like a psychic or medium? No. It's more like, I'm doing this for fun. I'll interpret the cards. If you relate, fantastic. But ever so often, depending on the reading, I'll kind of get a hint of like, I don't know why, but I'm going to say this. And if it helps you, great. And then sometimes when I do, it's, it worked out and it came back positive. So for me, no, I just kind of like to go blindly into a situation and see if you related to that and you picked up on that. Fantastic. I hope it helps you and, you can go on your way.
Right. Now, have you had a lot of success with this? I mean, how long have you been doing it, and have you had a lot of feedback on this?
Yeah, so I've been doing it for about probably professionally for about a year now. I kind of just did it more for friends and family. And I actually was told to, I go to, say, a psychic reading, and they'd literally be like, do you know that you're highly intuitive? And I just was kind of like, oh, really? Oh, okay. Great. Thank you. But it wasn't until probably about a year ago where I thought, I can make some extra money. We'll try. The only advice that I would give to people when they have a tarot reading is maybe go in open-minded, but don't cling to the answer as much. Because some people go and they'll go get a tarot reading and it'll be a very serious matter. And it's like, if this is too personal and to talk about right now, don't touch it. We don't need to go into some dark place in your past. It's like, this is more like move you forward instead of you to get wrapped up in certain things. But yeah, probably about a year that I've been doing it, and even still, I feel like business is expanding, and it's it's really nice when because I often don't always remember what I say in a reading. I kind of just do it and then move on, and then it's cool when you have people kind of wrap around and they say, hey, I got a reading from you 6 months ago, and I just want you to know that really helped me with the situation and moved me forward. That's the really rewarding part where you're like, oh, great, awesome, So there's two things with this. It's nice to know that all the money that I have will be and have been raising from tarot will be going to the food bank, so helping people in that regard. But then also, if they get something out of the reading, fantastic.
Right. Now, you said you had a GoFundMe page. Where do we find that GoFundMe page? What's it called?
So literally just says Shannon's raising money for the food bank. Type into my name to social media and it should come up. It's pretty. Or I have been in the Spectator as well. So if you actually type in my name and go Shannon McKinnon the Spec, that's actually might be easier for some people because the article will come up and then they have a link to the GoFundMe page. But literally just typing in my name and it should come up right away.
Okay. And you've raised about $600 so far. What's your ultimate goal, or do you have an ultimate goal?
So originally when I started this, it was more I was like, well, let's shoot for $350. So that goal has been achieved. So from, if I could get $800, that would be awesome if I could get there. Honestly, I'm just impressed with the 610 so far. So whatever comes is fantastic. That'll definitely, buy a few families a meal. And even after, I'm going to donate the money, but after, I think I'm just going to keep raising money because we don't know how long, the pandemic will go on for. So I'm just going to keep doing my thing.
That's great. Well, Shannon, I hope your cards fall in the right places and that the future is bright for you. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you, Scott. It was awesome. Thank you.
No problem. And that's our time for this show. Find us on Twitter at City Matters TV or email us at citymatters@cable14.com. Cable 14 is